We need money to function in this world. Not only do we need it, but also it makes a huge difference even in our socialization, that we can be able to help others. I think, even as you come into this place, some of those bad money habits that we have built are cultural specific. When we are training as Africans, we do recognize that you are not yourself. We are our communities, and the expectation is, as a community, how can we be able to grow? So you find yourself often giving more than maybe you should, you know. I want to make sure that we understand that those things are the kind of things we want to catch ourselves in. Let me give you an example, because this is something that comes up often when we're doing our classes, often. So we try and ask people, where does your money go? And one of the main areas that it goes is in supporting our parents and our family up country, supporting relatives, weddings, funerals, bridal showers, baby showers, fundraisers for healthcare, community fundraisers, building churches and other religious institutions. I mean, we are givers. And one of the things that I find is that often the giving can be out of control. And here's the thing. I'm not here to tell people don't give. No. In fact, I want you to give, and even give more if you can. The issue is, can you manage your giving? Can you be able to manage your giving? Now, this sounds, to an African ear, it sounds very odd that you should manage your giving. In fact, let me ask this question. If you can type your response in the chat box or even in the comments down below. If your parents called you and asked for monetary support, have you ever said no? I need your response. Have you ever said no to your parents when they call you and ask for some monetary support? Type in the chat box if you have said no. I want to see. Hey, quickly, Diana was there saying never. Mercy, that is impossible. Who is this? Someone else says never. No, never. In fact, Veronica says, I do it right away. Unimaginable is what Joy is saying. Here's the thing. We don't, Rose says, sending fastest. In fact, it even increases your speed because your parents have called. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let me put it in another way. Thank you so much for all those who have responded. I love the speed of response. And as I'm yet to see, unless anyone else in the team is seeing a response that I'm yet to see anyone who has said no. I have not seen it. So that seems like an overwhelming no. So here's the thing. I'm asking you another question. Let's take it to another level. I know this is extremely serious, and I'm not making light of it. I hope you'll take it with the right mindset. Okay. So I hope you've noticed I'm now not joking. I'm being very serious because it is a serious issue, but I want to use it to illustrate what we are discussing today. I am sure many of us have been called for fundraisers for family members or close friends and relatives, somebody who is unwell and in hospital. Okay, all right. We have been called for fundraisers for somebody who's unwell and in hospital. They're in need, maybe they're in need of life-saving surgery. Maybe they need to go to a different, country for the service that they're looking for. There are various factors that are there, and they cost a lot of money. I want you to think about it for a second. If in that moment, that life-saving surgery, that life-saving treatment that they would receive would change, obviously it's life-saving, and they need the money. And often it's millions of shillings. Would you, and I want you to respond very quickly in the chat box, would you, for instance, sell your car, sell your house? Have you ever sold your car, sold your house to make sure that that person gets the money that they need to survive? Have you ever done that? Did you go out and sell your house, your car, that property up country to give to those people? Did you do that? And the responses are coming in quick. Okay, Let's have a word with someone here. Daniel, where is Daniel Karaoke? Let's talk to Daniel and see what's happening. Daniel, I'm going to unmute your mic. Hi, Daniel, how are you? Daniel Karaoke.
I'm fine, thank you.
Your response was one of the fastest to come in. And you said, in fact, if you can even switch on your camera so we can see you and have a discussion here. Daniel, yes. I'm asking you.
Yes.
Selling your car, selling that piece of property could have saved that person's life. See, it was a life or death situation. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So why did you not do that? Why did you not sell your car or whatever it is that could have helped that person? I know you gave because you're a good person like that. I know you gave some money. Yeah. But you didn't give it all. Why?
Well, unless it's really, well, I wouldn't see the point of doing that because unless
it will
it's my
save
wife
someone's
or children,
life. No, it's life or death. Why wouldn't you sell?
No. I can't, but I mean, you can't just destabilize your life on basis of someone else's
need.
Yeah. I'd rather organize people and fundraise than because I'm digging a hole into my finances. Then who will come and sell their car to buy me another car?
Daniel, I'm not sure because I think I saw you respond earlier. I think I heard you respond that when your parents call and they need cash, you send immediately. Why? I think that's why I picked you. I thought I saw your name there. So now you're showing me two sides. Am I right?
Okay, the previous response wasn't mine.
Oh, okay. So you don't send. If they ask, you don't send.
Well, I send, but at times I tell them I don't have.
Okay, good.
I normally weigh.
Yes. The choice, and I hear you, and thank you so much. I'm giving you a bit of a hard time because it's important to illustrate the point that I'm getting to, and thank you so much, Daniel. I appreciate it. Excuse me. I really appreciate your participation, and that's how we do it in our classes. We get everyone to participate and give their views on it. Thank you so much, Daniel. I wanted to show this. This is the point, and I hope you get it. Even in life or death situations, we have limits with our finances because there are certain things that we want to achieve in life. And that is survival. We want our families to survive. We want to be able to keep moving. We want to be able to sustain that and help other people in future. So even for those who responded and said to tell our parents no is not possible, I assure you it is possible if it is within your plans, because there are limits to your finances. And some of the bad habits that we have built is that there are some people we cannot say no to. There are situations that we cannot say no to. There are opportunities that we don't say no to. And so we find ourselves frustrated because every so often it's this fundraiser, it is parents calling, cousin calling, whoever it is, and then you're never able to grow yourself. Now watch this. I told you we all have limits. So all we are saying is when you're putting together your budget, and your budget is the tool to help you, especially with all your money habits, you can be able to budget and say, this is for giving. This is my budget. Once we reach this limit, it's the limit. Imagine there is a limit. Doesn't matter what it is, there is a limit to what you can be able to give. So my question to you, and the question that we're asking you this morning, is how come you have not set that limit for yourself? That's what we want to address. So I started off very quickly and jumped into the content. Didn't even bother to tell you who I am and what I do. Just real quick, Waithaka Gatumia is my name. I'm the CEO at Centonomy and also one of the lead trainers there. And I love to do this. I love to have conversations around the area of wealth creation, the area about purpose and direction. Here's the thing for everyone who's logged into this session. Wealth creation does not happen by chance. You don't create wealth by mistake. And often those who do cannot hold on to that wealth. Wealth creation is a process. It takes time. And for everyone, it is a different journey. But the tools, the methods, the outcomes are the same, just at different times for everybody. Let me explain this. For all the young people, I know we look up to tech entrepreneurs, Jeff Bezos, Julian Kula locally. We look up at people like Bill Gates and all those who are tech entrepreneurs. And we've had Julian Kula come and speak at Centonomy. We've had Peter Njoki come and speak at Centonomy. We've had many, many business leaders come and speak. And we look up to them and you see them and you're like, these people, it just happened for them. Suddenly Resolution Health was everywhere. Suddenly mode is in 30 countries around the world. Suddenly Facebook is everywhere. Suddenly everyone is using Windows. No, that's not the truth. The preparation that it took to get from where they started to where the breakthrough happened was the same across the board. You have to come up with a solution that is going to help other people, and that often takes time. Bill Gates and Zuckerberg of Facebook, when you hear about their coding history, they were coding since they were young men. Even young boys, in most cases, young boys. So it took years of coding and preparation to get to that one idea that was able to revolutionize the world. That's what we are talking about. It's not something that just happens like this. And those disciplines that got them to the point that they exploded. We don't usually see the years of hard work before that, the years of preparation before that. We only see the point of explosion. And then we say we would like to be like them. No, work backwards and begin to see. When Eliud Kipchoge last year was paid over $4 million, over 400 million shillings, it seemed like it was, he ran for less than 2 hours work, he got over 400 million shillings plus, because there's endorsements and other things that he got. In less than 2 hours, he was able to gain that. But that's not the story. The story of Eliud Kipchoge is that it's years of preparation for this moment. Even having tried that mark again a couple of years ago when it didn't quite work out for him. So when it comes to addressing this issue of bad money habits, that's what we're talking about today. When it comes to addressing this issue, we must be real, we must be honest, we must be truly part of this, this journey and fully involved. We cannot outsource the process of wealth creation to someone else. We have to be actively engaged. And that's what we're calling you to. At Centonomy, we're calling adults to wake up and to say, I need to take control of my destiny and say, you know what, I've come from this background, I've come from this school, I've come from this job, I've come from this situation. No problem. Those are things, experiences that have happened to us, whether we wanted them or not. But right now, in the situation that we are in, I am going to take control now. And I'm going to say, the things I can control, I will control. The things I cannot control, I will adapt and be agile to shift within them. It's very easy to say, oh, COVID-19 has happened. Good. COVID-19 has happened to everybody around the world. I've been talking to relatives in Australia. I've been talking to our business coaches in the US. I've been talking to entrepreneurs in the UK over the last couple of months. We are all in the same storm. We're all in the same storm, but on different boats. So everybody is dealing with this, and it is for us to take control of what we can. We can't control what the government is going to say, but we can take action and say, because we are forced into this situation, what are we going to do about it? That's what I'm calling out to you to find out right now. So as we challenge you over the next couple of minutes, I encourage you to take down some notes, write down, because it is for you to take action. If you sit back and think that it is the government that's going to make you wealthy, it is your employer that's going to make you wealthy, these are lies. It is your work, your hard work, your stewardship of the gifts that God has given you that will get you to the point that you find success. That's it. And so all of us are on that journey, different stages of that journey, and I'm calling you to take this journey with us. I want you to take control and say, if I want to be where my mentor is, if I want to be where that person I admire is, then this is the action I'm going to take. For many of you, our first step will be buying a book to read and understand, and we highly recommend a book by our founder, Waithaka Ndwati, called Making Sense. I'll tell you about it in a little bit. I highly encourage you to take the action of sitting in a Centonomy class, because let me tell you this. I would like to, when we come into these free sessions, I would really like to sit down and just start breaking down. This is how to invest, for instance, in real estate, how to think about real estate. But I don't have the time because we've not done the foundation. We've not talked about how money works, how debt works, how you're able now to plan for the future, so that there's no context to discuss that real estate. So I can be talking about it, and it doesn't make sense, because right now I'm earning maybe 30,000 shillings, and you're talking about real estate projects worth 3 million shillings. How do I get involved? You see, you need the background in order for that to work. And that's what the Centonomy classes do for you. They give you the setup. We talk about the very beginning, which is, how does money work? How does debt work? How do you plan for the future using time value of money principles? When you do that, then you're able to now navigate the investment avenues that are there for you. That's what we do in the classes. And so, yes, I'm happy that you've shown up for this session, but guys, this is just a taste. This is just the cover. I want you to enjoy the potential of your future by actually putting it into practice. That's the difference. It's so easy to, you want these to free things everywhere, but let me tell you, growth costs your time, your energy, your money. And if you want to invest in yourself, I encourage you to invest. Thank you for your time today, but that's not enough. Make the commitment to grow now. Make the commitment to learn. I mean, we're inviting you and we're saying our classes are starting this coming week. Tuesday, this coming week, we are on. We're inviting you to register today and actually to join. But it's not just here at Centonomy. So we want you to come for sure. That's why we're doing this. We want you to come, buy the book and all that. But even if you just simply invest in something else that is you're taking control for yourself, there's no problem. We want you to come. I think ours is the best program that is out there, as we always would. But we're encouraging you to start where you are. That's what we want you to do. So you're going to hear some amazing stories today, some great discussions with our panelists who are here with me. I can see, Peter, you're around. Good to see you. Actually, did he leave the room? I'm seeing a couple of other things. Great. Daktari, you are in the house as well, I believe. I want to just make sure, Dr. Njoki, you're here as well. If not, I, as always, I'm ready and willing to continue with the discussion. So I'm calling us, each one of us, to take action rather than be reactive. Take action and make decisions as to what you want. One of the central questions that we ask in Centonomy, and we ask it across all our programs, is what do you want? Because when you're clear about what you want, then you can make decisions on where you want to go. Let me give you an example. In the class, we always ask people, what kind of lifestyle would you like to live? And people say, I want to be rich, I want to have a lot of land. Very general point. So when somebody says rich, my very next question is how rich? When I say I want land, my very next question is how much land? And not just how much land, but where is that land? Because 100 acres somewhere around, where would I say, around Masabit, and 100 acres in the middle of Karen, they are completely different. That's what it is. They're completely different. When you make a decision where that place is, then you can put a cost to it. So let me give you an example. So in yesterday's session we were running, there was a young gentleman, because I asked the same question, and I asked, what kind of lifestyle would you like to live? And this guy, he says, man, 5-bedroom mansion, good. I said, good. Where is that 5-bedroom mansion? And he said, a place called Kitisuru here in Nairobi. And Kitisuru is, one of these upmarket areas. So I said, 5-bedroom mansion, great, in Kitisuru, great. How much land? And the gentleman said, 5 acres. I said, okay, 5 acres in Kitisuru. Wonderful, good for you. So you're talking about maybe for that mansion plus the land, anywhere between 300 million and 500 million shillings. And the guy went quiet. And I was like, why have you gone quiet? That's what your dream is? What is it that you want to do about your dream now? And the gentleman was shocked because he had never thought, what is the cost of my dream? And obviously, the bigger the dream, the greater the cost. But what we were able to do for him in the session was to break that dream down into steps that he can begin to take today. So I'm asking you, if you have a dream, if you have an ambition, if you have a goal that you're aiming for, my question to you is this. Are you willing to break those bad habits in order to achieve that goal? I'm so glad because I've seen the two panelists that we have today, and we're going to have a good discussion. I just want to introduce them to you. Mr. Peter Mbatha, he is here and on screen. How are you doing? Peter is a banker, but also a good friend. He's a good father. He's a mentor to many people. Peter is also an alumni of Centonomy. He is fully Centonomy Damu. He's been with us for a long time. Peter, karibu.
Asante sana Waithaka. Glad to be here.
Good to see you, man. We've also got Dr. Caroline Njoki. Dr. Caroline Njoki, as far as I know right now, she's one of our biggest celebrities online. I don't know who she paid. I don't know who she knows in this country of ours, because she did a speech at one of our events in Nakuru. And that event, I think, is closing. I don't know what the last numbers I saw. I think, was it close to 500,000 people have viewed it on our YouTube channel. I mean, it's one of the biggest videos we have online. Dr. Njoki, are you here? I think I saw you a little bit earlier on.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Are you able to walk down the street anymore in Nakuru?
I have to wear glasses, but I don't mind.
We still want to know, who did you pay? How did you do it? I've been doing this work for a long time, and none of my videos have ever hit the numbers that yours did. That was amazing. So I'm so grateful to have you guys on board and to share your experiences, and then we can have some discussion and get some feedback from the team. So I just wanted to say thank you, first of all, for giving us your time. Peter,
Yes, Waithaka.
You have some history with us. You joined us a couple of years ago and have been working since then. But I want you to think back, because I know now you are disciplined with your money, you are focused, you have been investing seriously. I know some of the projects you've been working on, especially with your chama. I want you to think back a couple of years and to tell me what were some of those habits that you are dealing with a couple of years ago.
Thank you so much, Waithaka, and thank you, audience. And I'm glad once again to be a part of this webinar this morning. So as Waithaka says, my name is Peter Mbatha. I don't describe myself by what I do. I just tell people I'm very passionate about financial management and matters finance. And I enjoy sharing my journey. I'm not perfect, I'm still a work in progress. But as Waithaka says, we've come a long way. So maybe just to share some of the challenges I've experienced and encountered in the past. Maybe I should start by saying I joined Centonomy, and that went through the Centonomy 101, which is the basic financial management classes in 2013. So we are looking at a 7-year history back then. And I would say it's been an interesting journey, friends. Looking back at some of the bad habits, I do recall a while back before I attended the Centonomy classes, I would keep money in the bank and I didn't know what to do with that money. And I'm sure this morning there are a number of us in this webinar who would identify with me. So you have the funds, but you don't know what to do with them. You don't know how to literally save, because you know, yes, the money is safe in the bank account, but it's not giving you the kind of returns you see when you read the papers and read books about people who've gotten wealthy. And so I would say part of the improvement and growth that I then saw in my life after I joined these classes is I learned about the different financial investment classes and assets. So things that seemed complex in the past all of a sudden started making sense. I understood what it means to buy shares. I understood what it means to buy bonds. I understood it's important to think of how you can sweat your assets. And I think I'll repeat that phrase a lot today, Waithaka, allow me. I think for me, the key theme today, because we are looking at bad habits, is first of all, just ask ourselves, what are we holding? What do you have in your hand? And what are you doing with it for it to grow you? So allow me not to say more so that you can allow Dr. Njoki to also share, but I would say, if I was to enumerate two, is I had the money and I didn't know what to do with it. And even when I had the money, I found myself using the money to purchase things which I thought were assets, only later to join Centonomy and realize they were not assets.
Tell me one thing you bought that was not an asset.
I mean, I'm looking back at times when the mobile phones had just started coming up and we had great models in the market. I remember at the time I was dreaming of buying the best car that I can buy. And so I think after attending Centonomy, my dreams and thoughts realigned, because I realized an asset is basically anything that puts money back in my pocket. And that has helped me since then. Every time I have to spend, the first question I ask myself is, once I give away this money, whatever I'm buying or purchasing, will it put money back in my pocket or will it take it away? And I'm glad to say, because of that, I eventually did what every good man needs to do. I realized before I get that car, I need to park it in my own parking lot. And so I was able to reprioritize and give priority to probably get in my house before getting the car. And I'm happy to say I eventually parked the car outside my own house. Thank you.
Thank God for that. Thank God for that. Wonderful. Daktari, how is it going in Nakuru? I mean, with everything that's going on around with this whole COVID-19 situation, how are you holding up on that side? Dr. Njoki, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, yes, I can hear you. Sorry about that.
That's okay. How are you holding up under this crisis?
I had a hard time in the morning. I've had a blackout in my house.
Oh my, Paul.
So I had to look for a place with internet, but I'm glad I'm up and running.
Thank you.
Specifically to your question, how we are holding up, I'm not sure how to answer that for now, but as you're speaking, I'm on a half salary. I've had to make major readjustments.
Wow.
And soon to be on none at the rate we are going. But if I compare myself now and about 2 years ago, I would be a very stressed person with all this that's happening. But I've been very surprised at the growth I've undergone because I'm not feeling very stressed. Because probably I reorganized myself the last 2 years. So previously, 2 years ago, if you told me, I don't think I'll be able to get a salary anymore, I would be very worried. But,
so why are you not worried?
I think I have managed to reorganize myself. The first thing, I don't have a loan. That is what would really be stressing me, I think. So the corona has found me where I am not having a debt that I must pay. You don't find yourself where you must pay a landlord. Okay? But even more importantly, even if you're not paying all those things, you're not, the money you're using for your daily needs, food, clothing, there's those very basic needs.
That's right.
Not coming from your salary. We call that being salary. I'm trying to look for the word. Free from your salary. You've been living free from your salary, and you train yourself to do that. So the COVID-19 has hit. It has hit me at that time. You have already reorganized yourself and freed yourself from what you call the employer.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, that's massive. And I think it's so important. We've been talking about it for many years, and you've known this. If you look at our, I encourage everybody to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as to like us on Facebook as well, because there's lots of free material that's there. And if you look through the videos that we've been doing, and I'm sure both Peter and Daktari, you can attest to this. We've been talking about this idea of an emergency fund. We've been talking about this idea of income streams that don't require your work, passive income streams. We've been talking about it for a long time, and how to build to that point. I think that's a major point. Thank you for bringing that up right now. So I encourage everyone who's in the room, and also everyone on Facebook, like us on Facebook, follow us, and actually subscribe to the YouTube channel, because these reminders actually make a huge difference over time. So I'd like to ask Dr. because Peter confessed his sins just now. I will confess mine also if you will follow through. One of the bad habits that you had before attending Centonomy that you could bring up and share, now that you have managed to break through.
All right. Not hard. I still have some, which I'm trying to fight.
Yeah.
But at least I know what they are, so I try to sort them out before they take me down. Yeah. But my biggest problem was not tracking my money. I never used to track it.
Yeah.
And I was very, very generous. So meet me, I'll just give you. I won't even ask for what.
Yes.
And because I was not tracking my money, I would do a lot of impulse buying. I was very impulsive. I was a regular visitor at the malls. I was fed up with Nakuru. There's nothing to buy. So I wanted to be where the malls have, those very good things so that I can buy, and absolutely no planning. Yes. I'm still having a problem. I forget to track some of my expenses. Then I come back later in the evening or at the end of the month, and I say, oh, I need to, I spend this here, so that it can help me to plan in the future. So that is one of my biggest difficulty, my biggest bad money habit that I used to have. And I'm still fighting it. Yes.
Okay, great. As I said, I think I also need to confess, because I can't be putting you guys on the spot also on some of the things. I think one of my bad money habits was, how do I describe it in a nice way? That's why I started this whole session with the idea of family and friends. I was the guy you can call. No, I mean, ask and you shall receive. As in, that's it, without any questions, without thought. And one of the things that I've found to be extremely useful. So that was me. Cousin calls and says, I need cash, you send. You know, there's a fundraiser, you are there. There's, you know, without any thought, I want to be as helpful as possible. And what was happening was, yes, I was giving, but I was also not building on my end. What I have discovered, and which is what I've now begun to see, and I don't know if whether you've experienced the same thing, both Peter and Daktari. I started studying my wealthy relatives and wealthy friends. And I began to realize that they give more than I do, but their giving is purposeful. That's what shocked me. I found that you find somebody, you know they are wealthy. I mean, you can tell by where they live, the cars they drive, they're in the newspapers, they have more money. And then you arrive for, let's say, a birthday party, and they'll come with a card and a small present. And you're wondering now, this person who's worth a few 100 million, if not a few billion, they couldn't come with a bigger gift. And I used to wonder what's wrong. And I'm coming there with a big gift, bouquet of flowers and other things. I have less money, but I'm spending more on those small things. And I used to think this person is being mean. Then I started studying it, and I noticed something. Their giving was more purposeful. Let me give you an example. When I was going to college, we did some fundraising, and I thank God for my parents who managed to put everything, but we did raise some funds together with friends and family. And in that moment, the relative who I had thought was being very mean, you know, giving small amounts at everything else, gave the most, because in that situation, they saw that the education that I was looking towards would be helpful to my life. It was purposeful giving. I have another friend who generally they will not take you out for a cup of coffee. But, and I know they have a lot of money to do so, but a few months later, there is a church project that is being done, and they fully funded the whole thing. You know, when you do a fundraiser at the church and everyone is expected to come, there was no fundraising. This person paid a couple of millions of shillings to fund the project. There was no fundraiser. And I was like, here's the difference. Here's the thing, wake up, Waithaka. These people are giving, but they're giving with purpose and clarity. It's not random. There is a plan for what they're doing. So I thought I'd share that with you guys as well. Peter, if you don't mind, I just wanted to ask you, yes, it's good to address and understand that bad habit, but I think part of what we're discussing today is how did you start the process of breaking the habit? Because that's a thing. You know, to understand it, I liked what Daktari said earlier, to know the problem is different from changing, you know, the problem. So I'm asking you, Peter, how did you start the process of breaking those habits that were there? That must have been tough.
Thank you, Waithaka. And interesting question. Inaonekana leo tutafungua roho kabisa. So interestingly, like I said, one of the biggest challenge for me was knowing where my money was being channeled to. And I'm sure many of us, even today, struggle with that. So you have money, at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, you look back and you can't really tell, where is my money going? I know I get a monthly salary. I know I have some little savings in the bank. But when I look at my status in June from January, I cannot really see the difference. And so what I would say helped me unlock or probably start getting out of that rut was I realized I need to be consistent and intentional. I know you've talked about being purposeful, Waithaka, But just to add to that, I realized there are things that don't happen by accident. You have to be determined to know what you want to achieve with your money. And once you determine that, look for ways then of being consistent and intentional about doing that. And so I'll give you an example. Please. I knew, for example, I would want to have savings by the end of the year. If I put aside 20,000 shillings a month, I would want to see the 240,000 at the end of the year. But you'll agree with me, and I'm sure the audience will agree with me. You start the first month well, second month. By the third month, an emergency arises from nowhere. And by that, I must admit, I'm like you. I'm one of those people, if I have money, I will give it. So one of the things I learned then by attending the Centonomy classes was one of the ways to correct that bad habit is to first and foremost prioritize. What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? So I prioritize 2 or 3 lists, but then even after prioritizing, how then do you action it? And I'll tell you this, Waithaka, for me, the magic solution was putting in place standing orders. I'll try and be as practical and as simple as we can be today, because many people make this money discussion and financial discussion very complex. So all I did was walk to the bank and tell them I want to, for example, 1, put aside X amount of shillings every month to my kids' education policy. Number 2, I want this 20,000 shillings put aside to a special savings account every month on the 24th. And now looking back, 7 years back, I can comfortably confirm this has become easy. Why? Because I no longer have to sit down every month, go to the bank, withdraw money and put it in different investment vehicles or accounts. The standing order thing does it for me, and it has worked for me. So allow me to share that one example. I'm sure there will be more questions. What is the exhaust example?
I'm telling you, and what you are sharing now is making a huge difference. I'm just following on Facebook. That's what I'm looking at down here. Mimi is saying, there's a person called Mimi here who's saying, impulse buying, not tracking. Eish! And then she has a sad face that is there. Mary has picked up on some of what we've been talking about, which is purposeful giving. Thank you so much, Mary. We've got Abdi who said, I live below my means. I try to save and invest 75% of my income, and I live off the 25% that is there. Wambui says, Corona has curbed my impulse buying. Yeah, well, for some people it has, for others it's not quite. We can even be spending more than that. And then Bithi was saying, I thought I was alone with that problem. We are not. Please understand, you are not alone. That's why we're having this discussion, and we're going to give some practical tools on what we're going to get through. Dr. if I can come to you as well on your side, if you don't mind. How did you start breaking? I've got my own. How did you start breaking those habits? Thank you, Peter, for that. If you don't have the money, you can't spend it. I think that's a beautiful tool to use. Dr. what are some of the tools used for breaking those habits?
This spending is, let me first start by saying this. I'm 39 going to 40, so I'm in where you call middle age. It's a nice age. Life starts then, when you're earning peak of your career, but you're also slowing down. And then something started happening. I had children to take to school, but I also had parents who are now getting elderly. You know, you forget that. You only see yourself and your children. You have parents who are also growing older. They're getting sick. And before that, I used to work in the hospital, the government hospital here, and I could not relate to the patients I was seeing because we are sort of not living the same life. When I started working in Nairobi is when I saw people who I can relate to. Someone comes and they bring their father to hospital and they have to pay that hospital bill. And that's when reality dawned on me. Wow, I will be taking care of 2 generations now, not 1. And I realized the situation I might find myself in at any one time. It's a ticking time bomb. So the first thing I decided is, let me go and look for, I shared it with even my siblings, but they were like, no, you don't think about such things. But I thought about them because I was seeing them myself. So I decided to look for insurance, and the insurance told me, no. How old are your parents? No, they're too risky. Even them, they saw what I was seeing. So when I realized that, I realized I have to plan my money well. I might be doing what you call intergeneration, taking care of intergeneration people.
Yeah.
It's not just my children's school fees. There are many, many other things I'm going to be taken care of. And if I'm not careful, I'm in the middle there, I could be thrown into a crisis. So the first thing I did is start to save before I spend. I think that's the motto I go by. So before you spend any money, put aside the one you want to put aside. So if you have decided you earn 10,000 shillings and you want to save 5, put aside that 5,000. Weka mbali kabisa, standing order, wherever you'll put it. We'll discuss later where you can put. But put it aside. Then now live with that 5,000 shillings that is remaining. It is always good to look around. I went around and I looked at the estimated cost of things that I regularly use. And then I looked at where I can get them cheaply. How is the cheapest way I can get that? And then when I put all those things together, I counted everything that I use in a month and I put them together and I looked for places I could get them at a cheaper rate so that I could expand the saving part. And then now I started living with that. So even when I was earning my full salary, I've already told you, imekatwa nusu. Even when I'm paid, but I'm living within, I'm being paid my full salary, I was living within a certain budget and the rest I was not touching. So even now when they've come and said half, and soon they'll say none. All right?
But yeah.
Yes, we say you prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. But in the worst case scenario, you're not used to touching that part. In fact, it has been going somewhere and it's saved even for emergencies. And you have fine-tuned yourself to be living within this budget. Now, when you look at the other side, now sio kokatwa, umeongezwa. Because it can also be the other side, the other way. Yeah. You've been added your salary.
Yeah.
You're still accustomed to living within those means. So even that money you get over and above the salary you've been added, you find you don't touch it. So that concept, I think the key concept is save fast, then spend. Because once that money is sitting in your account, it's accessible to you. The temptation is so high and the discipline is not there. You'll have that feeling, I have money anyway. Let me just buy this. It would hurt. But when it's not visible, it's not where you can reach it, you train yourself to live within the budget.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. And the responses that are coming through, thank you to everyone who's watching on Facebook. There's some amazing responses coming through. I can relate. That's Pauline saying, with this discussion, I hope it remains as practical as it is now. That's our intention. We don't like to talk theory in this place. Liz Wanjugu says, living beyond my means, being forced to borrow from these loan apps. Yeah, that's kind of one of that's the eventuality if we don't find ourselves in that space. And Abdi has continued to support and speak in that space, also just saying, yeah, it's those baby steps are the ones that matter. So yeah, continue to participate. We're seeing those. We'll come to a time where we can take some questions. But for now, there's some here also on Zoom because I don't want to leave you guys out as well. This is admin who says, not tracking my money and impulse buying, my weakness. Yeah, so these things are universal, as you can see, Peter. So even if we fungua roho here, don't worry, you're not alone. Yeah. What was this other one? Keeping it real, bad money habits starting from the turnaround point. I just finished. This one is one I wanted to mention before I go on. This is Shalom Strupa, who says, I just finished university and my mom is already saying, pata kazi haraka utulinde pia. You can imagine that position, you know. Purposeful giving, a great idea. I think that's important. I think that's what separated some of these thoughts for me. Practical information shared. So good. Yeah, that's what we want to do. Here's something that has worked for me personally. As I said, as Peter said, if you don't have the money, you can't spend it. So one of our investments that we've made recently, that standing order, that's it. At the beginning of the month, you don't even see the money. People here talk, I saw somebody saying living within your means. At Centonomy, here's one of the principles. You can write this down for those who are following with us. We say, pay yourself first. It's a principle that we talk about, pay yourself first. And pay yourself first means doing two things. It means, number one, you save something and you invest something first. Because if you pay everybody else first, you pay the government tax, that one you don't even see. Then you pay the landlord or the bank for the loan that you borrowed. Then you pay the other loans. Then you pay school fees. Then you pay the supermarket. Then you pay utilities. You pay Safaricom, Airtel, whichever one it is that you're on. You pay for internet in your house. You pay everybody else. You pay all those things, tithes and offerings. There's nothing usually left. So we say, prioritize, as you've heard from both of Peter and Dr. Njoki. We've had pay yourself first, which means save something first and invest something first. If you don't have the money, you can't spend it. So even saying no, it's not even saying no. I loved the response that we got earlier on in the session where if you know, and your parents call and ask for money and you don't have it, you can say, I don't have. You see, in that moment, you can say, I don't have the money. But when there's cash in the account, saying that becomes a bit difficult. So saving and investing first. And listen, I think this is one of the points that we need to be clear about. We are not thinking that this will be the situation forever. The idea is that you set up your financial structure today so that it gets to the point where these things happen automatically without your participation. Whereas Peter is saying you have enough assets that those assets are putting money in your pocket daily, whether you show up or not. That's where the financial freedom happens. Financial freedom happens at the point at which you no longer have to work, you get to work because that's what you want, okay? So I really appreciate those points, and guys are really following through on this. I really thank you everyone who's participating, especially both on Zoom and on Facebook. We're really appreciating those comments coming in. Keep them coming. Daktari, there was a poll that you wanted to run, and there's a couple of questions just so that we can get some responses. I think I can just take guys through that. You'll see it on your screen. It'll be coming up very soon. There are just 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. For those who are on Zoom, we're just taking the poll just so that we get some feedback. If you're on Facebook, you can't be able to do it right now, but we'll try and get it to you a bit later. But what it'll do, it'll just give us a picture of who we are in the room. So if you're on Zoom, the poll will be coming up shortly. Tessie, I think you can put it live into the group so that we capture some of this information as we go forward. Very quickly, as we said, breaking some of the bad money habits. They're really important. For those on Zoom, you can see it. Just answer the questions real quick, and you'll be able to participate and get on that. Great. So Peter, one of the things that is most powerful, and I know people don't take it seriously, and I'll ask you the question, then I'll give my response afterwards. I was getting ahead of myself. Peter, what changed for you when you started tracking your expenses? I want specific examples, then I want to speak about it if you don't mind. What changed for you when you actually started writing down every cent you spend? What happened?
All right. Thank you, Waithaka. I hope you can hear me.
Loud and clear.
So, interesting question. I must start by admitting that even the tracking itself wasn't easy at the beginning. But yes, with time, it becomes a habit. You know what they say, after you do it for 21 days consistently, and going back to what I had said earlier, if you're consistent and intentional, then you're able to do it. But I would say, Waithaka, the greatest benefit I saw when I started tracking my expenses is at the end of every month, I would have a quiet time and just review my finances. And I would be happy to tell where at least 90% of my money has gone.
Yeah.
As I was saying earlier, for example, if you get a pay and you know what amount, for example, you are putting in standing order, what amount goes to maybe paying your mortgage and your car loan if you have that.
Yeah.
It became really encouraging to know that this is where my money is going. And more interestingly, with time, of course, I was able to break this down further to ask myself, out of my total income, what percentage is going to savings? What percentage is going to investments? What percentage is going to feeding? I mean, just running the day-to-day activities, paying school fees, making sure there's food, knowing how much you're spending on transport. And that to me was very encouraging. I think it's really fulfilling to know, irrespective of how much you earn, at least I know 40% of my income is going into savings and investment. And so I would say that was one of the greatest benefits. Two, it gave me the motivation to justify why I need to earn more and start looking for other sources of income.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if, for example, I'm earning 100,000 and I know where it's going, of course, remember, I'm more ambitious. So when I start thinking and planning ahead, I realize, hey, we need to grow this income from 100,000 to 300,000. So how do we go about it? Now, remember, that is a question you cannot ask yourself if you don't know where the first 100,000 is going.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, I would say that is it, Waithaka. It helped me know where my funds were going when I started tracking.
Yeah.
Two, it helped me plan for the future, because then I was able to know by next year, this is what I should be earning. And therefore, it challenged me to look for other sources of income.
That's right.
Of course, without compromising my normal day-to-day job. And finally, of course, just to plan for the future, so that, again, we want to break this chain of napeleka mtoto shule ili nikizeeka anishughulikie. We need to break that chain. We need to be the generation that will plan well and be able to take care of ourselves in the future and teach our kids how to do that as well. Allow me to stop there.
That I will allow you, because I know you can tell us the whole story. Daktari, before I respond, there was something, there's something I'm aiming for. The poll is almost complete, and then we can have that discussion there. For you, what did that process actually do for you, if you don't mind?
Hello, Waithaka, sorry, my internet seems unstable. Just repeat your question.
My question was, the first time you tracked your expenses for a month, when you were not given a choice, when we saw you in the class, what was the outcome?
Just repeat again. I don't know why it's cutting off when you're just asking. Just ask again.
I will even type it. Don't worry.
No, just ask again. All right.
I'm saying, when you started tracking,
yes,
that month, what shifted in your mind?
Oh, all right. Yes. Oh, I was so shocked. The amount of money I used to give out on a daily basis, it was the biggest shocker from my tracking for that month.
Yeah.
And the amount of money I spent when making transactions on mobile platform, they were shocking. You know, you'd think you're just sending money to somebody, you've sent 500. No, you have spent an extra 20 shillings on top, or 30. So when I accumulated my other hidden expenses behind all those money transactions, mobile banking, I would ask for my mobile bank balance like 3 times in a day. It was cutting something from the bank. So this is some of the things that shocked me. Instead of just checking your balance once, then you record it somewhere. You keep checking at your convenience. You know, it's so convenient. Instead of giving somebody money and you can see them, okay, that was not before COVID-19, but simply just giving them the hard cash and they're sitting there with you. You choose to use M-Pesa and then incur an expenditure of 75 shillings. When you just meet somebody and they ask you, Madam Leo, si unigonge tu 200, you just give. I used to spend a lot of money on such. So those are the things that came out during my tracking. And also another thing that shocked me was my spending. I looked at the amount of money I'm spending in a month. It was shocking. And I was not spending it on what I would call useful things. And then at the end of a month, I'm broke. I have no money to buy necessities. But when I look at what I did with it, most of the things I was buying were not really necessary. So whereas I would argue that, well, I had the money, then why was I running into shocks? I don't even have money for emergencies when they arise. Yet when you look back what you bought, you realize you bought a lot of things that are not necessary. So that tracking device it brings out so many things about you that you don't know. Just for 1 month. You don't even have to do it for a long time. And you get to know very many things about yourselves that are not obvious.
I fully agree. And in case you need one of those, you can be able to just reach out to us here at Centonomy. Just type in the chat box. For those who are on Zoom, because we have the details, you can just ask. We can send you a spending tracker that can help you to do what we're talking about. And it just simply gives you a picture of where your money is going. No judgment. It's you then to judge what are you going to do with it. I really love some of the responses coming in on Facebook. I see Rhoda Wanja saying, I'm not working now, but my take home is pay yourself first. That being investing and paying and saving. Yes, now I know the mistakes I used to do before while working and earning. Because at the end of it, all you end up with is nothing. Another one that I've picked up is tracking my expenses, and that is true. Mimi says, I tried tracking for like 2 months, and now my record book hasn't seen me since Feb. What can I do to never stop this tracking possible? And then is it an app? No, okay. Good. We'll respond to those ones just now. Now watch this, guys. I don't know whether this is your situation, Peter, Dr. This was me. I like to tell people that before I became a trainer at Centonomy, I was a student. I actually sat in the class over 8 years ago, just after I got married, because I needed to get my act together. We had been working together with Waithaka, our founder, for a couple of years before that. But I needed for me, you can be telling other people, but you're not doing something yourself. So I needed for me to be in there. And here's something, I don't know whether you experienced this. When going into a wealth creation program like Centonomy, I don't know if you are like me and you expected there would be a secret that only the elite and the billionaires know. I don't know if you are like me. Peter, what did you expect? Did you expect there would be like a secret? And there's something that other people know that no one knows. Peter, what was your experience?
That is so true, Waithaka. At the beginning, I thought there's just something or some information that is kept and held by the rich. And the rest of us here will just have to survive the way we found ourselves. But it is amazing because attending the Centonomy class 7 years back then, opened my eyes and I realized actually this information is out there, Waithaka. This information is out there. The challenge is how do you access it? Yes. And that is why I must say, first and foremost, I commend Centonomy for coming up with these classes. Secondly, is the question of, again, who do you hang out with? Because if you hang out with people who believe in ndio maisha tutoki hapa kwa mtaa, then you get stuck in that rut as well. Yeah. So I would say, as much as the information is more available today, we still have to be intentional as Kenyans, as young people, to get out there and find out where do I get the info. The info is available on the internet, but I think I want to encourage, and especially those of us who are in the audience. Yes. We have a challenge, and I don't know whether it's a Kenyan problem or an African problem, that I cannot go to class. I cannot pay to go to class to be taught how to manage money. Yeah. And that is where the root cause is. And that is why we end up getting to our 60s and we feel, I never got the secret. So what I would say is, the secret doesn't sit with anyone. The secret is out there. Be intentional. Attend the class. When you attend the class, the secret will be revealed to you. And once it's revealed to you, do something about it. Because there are also many of us, I'm sure Waithaka, you would mention this, who probably have also gone through the classes, but have not changed much because they got the secret, but they hid it under the bed.
Sorry, you're mulikaing a few of us.
No, simuliki watu. So yeah, so allow me to speak there. I think I'll just conclude by saying, honestly, there is no secret that the rich hold. The same way Warren Buffett invests, the same way Chris Kirubi invests, is the same way Waithaka and Peter Mbatha can invest, and Dr. Njoki today, and everyone in this audience. So like I was saying, let's just be intentional to get out there and find out how are these things done? How is investment done? How is money tracked? What are the investment vehicles out there available for me to put my money in? Yeah.
Daktari, were you like me? You thought, Yani, when you enter Centonomy, they will tell you which stockbroker to go to, which real estate agent to go to, and then you are frustrated. Were you like me?
I had said this in my other talk. I have a long history of joining mini groups. And they were the same results because they would tell you what to do. But what I found different with Centonomy, they don't tell you what to do. Things are done differently. And how I choose to do things is not the way you choose to do things. And what they give you is something called a principle. When you have a principle behind how something is done, you can choose whichever method to do, as long as you're following the same principle. So what I liked about Centonomy is they digest these principles so that you understand them fast. Then you can choose the method you want. So that's what I loved most about Centonomy. That's why I can agree to come and talk, because I found their class very, very, very useful. And what Mbatha is alluding to is also something that I also noticed. When I attended Centonomy, I was so shocked. This information is everywhere. Sometimes you don't even have to look for it. It's just there. You just ignore it. So where to look for information? And when now from Centonomy, now you learn to approach and to look for information. You learn even how to approach these people you're calling wealthy people. And actually, even when you sit down with them, they are so simple. They tell you things, this is what I did. You're like, really?
Yeah.
It sounds so simple.
Where is the secret? That question. Yeah.
No, I think you're hiding something from me. Yeah. You're not telling me the truth. How come? It's just that. So there's no secret. Even I also realized I also had another wrong mentality. That once you have money, financial independence, now you've started investing, investments have grown, you are going to reach a ceiling where you will reach and be happy ever after. No, the rich work hard. They also work hard. They probably even work harder than most of us, because they have to constantly look for fresh information. Not just to get more wealth, but to preserve the one they already have, to make the one they already have grow more. So don't sit there and think the day I'll be like so and so, I will be. No. If you cannot start working hard and smart now, it's tiring to think hard now, to think smart, to read, to go to class. You're feeling too tired to do that. You might not be able to manage your wealth when you get it, because you still have to do the same things. And then, of course, I always say charity begins at home. I cannot give a talk here of something I've not done. I'll be lying. I can't even articulate it properly because I don't have experience with it. So if you have not been able to manage yourself, even in your home, your small budget for your house, just remember when now you get those big investments, your business, your big monies in the accounts, the principle remains the same. You will not budget for it. You'll just be confused. So start with yourself first. Don't lie to yourself. Even when you're doing that poll, please don't lie to yourself. Be honest. Nobody will know what you've answered. We're just taking a poll. So be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself first. Clean yourself. Clean your mess first, your financial mess. Then you start looking at these other things. Then you'll see the same principles you're applying there. They're going to be copy-pasted when you start investing.
And look, as I said, I wanted to highlight this specifically because, as I said, people like, there's a secret place to go and invest. Okay, so here's the point. Right now, for instance, let me give you an example. Right now, there are some amazing opportunities for investment in real estate in this country. If you have a loose 150 million shillings, you can get involved. You know, I mean, if your savings account just has 150 million, you can be able to buy into that discussion. So, as I said, as that 150 million rolls off my tongue, I'm sure there are some people wagging and saying, what is this guy? Now you're not now being practical. Now Centonomy has gone into the realm of craziness. No. You see, we have to work backwards and say that you don't get to that point randomly. It doesn't happen that way. It goes through that process that we're going through right now, where you break it down to your current actions on a daily basis that makes the difference. Here's what I think changed for me when it came to Centonomy. It was that now I was being intentional about my goals and my financial ambitions. Being intentional. It's like weight loss. This is the example I always give. People think, and Dr. You can correct me if I'm wrong, people think that weight loss is the most complex thing that could happen in the world. And I've talked to many of you medics, and you tell us it's very simple. Just eat right, sleep, and exercise. I've heard from leading cardiologists that all you need to do is walk for half an hour every day. But here's the thing. When you wake up every day, the ambition to walk for that half an hour, you look at that extra samosa, the fries that are usually there in the buffet that you're going to eat, and you I'll just eat today. The drive to get there, I found, was very difficult, which is why when we start our discussion here at Centonomy, you always ask, what do you want? Can I give you my personal experience from this? I told you, I always share about what we did here in our house with my wife. One of our healthiest times in our life was the year between when we got engaged and when we got married. Why was it so healthy? Because there were two things that were waiting for us. There was a suit and there was a wedding dress, and we had picked them out, and we knew how we were going to fit into them. So going to the gym, we knew what day everybody was coming to look at us. The date was there. It was ready, waiting for us. We could see it. The 12th of August was coming, and it was a year away. And the fact that we could see the date, we knew how long we had to get there. We knew what we exactly wanted. My wife, she had picked her dress. I had picked my suit, and we wanted to fit in it and look good in those suits. So that target made the dieting, the exercise, the daily repetition much easier. We start the same way here at Centonomy with your personal finance. If we just tell you to save, for what? Saving is hard. It takes time. It means that you're not going to have every single thing that you would like to have every single moment. Investing it takes time, it takes your energy, because it's not just something that happens naturally like this. So if you want to do it and be successful at doing it, then you have to have a target to aim for. If you don't have the target, then the saving, the investing doesn't help. Watch this. If you're saying, for instance, let me give you an example. If I want to go on a holiday at the end of the year, God willing, the planes begin to fly again, everything opens up, we need to get out of the house. But in pre-COVID and post-COVID times, you want to travel at the end of the year. Then you look backwards and you say, if I put aside 5,000 bob every month, Dubai in December, here we come. You see, that end goal helps you to focus your mind and to say, that's how I'm going to achieve. I'm seeing all these people on Facebook and here on the Zoom call saying, but how do I, keep disciplined? How do I keep going through this? Saving this is so funny. This is so, I can't be able to keep discipline. And that's true, it's hard. That's why I keep coming back to the example like Eliud Kipchoge. He was focused. His goal was 1:59:59. That was it. 1:59:59. Anything from there, he didn't even want 1:59:58. So long as I hit 1:59:59, that is my target. So everything was focused towards that goal. If you are struggling with the discipline of saving, struggling with the discipline of tracking, it's because you're doing it without a reason. When you say, like Peter said earlier on, I want to park my car in my own house. I love that, Peter. It's a very clear dream and vision. When you said, I want to park my car in my own house, then it meant not going out for dinner 1 or 2 nights in the week. It's much easier, because what do I want? To park my own car in front of my own house. In Centonomy, we talk about, for instance, retirement. And retirement is not just, age 60. It's stopping having to work. You are now financially free. That means that you have enough assets, that your assets are putting money in your pocket for you to survive. When you know that goal, and you can see where it's coming, you can see that if I put aside maybe 150, 500 bob, depending on what your goal is every day, then the tracking becomes so much easier. Then the daily investment becomes so much easier, because I can see the goal. It's like that wedding dress and that suit that I was going to wear. I knew the date, I knew the time, I knew the stakes, and I could see how much time I had. The gym was so much easy. Now watch this. After that day, after our wedding day, let me tell you, we have never seen that kind of determination. Why? See, I've got the girl, she has got the guy. Now who are we impressing? You get what I'm saying? So we now have had to rethink and refocus our attitudes and say, what's the next goal that we're aiming for? The goal will set us up. I want to end the poll now. I'm going to actually end the poll. Tess, you can help me out. But these are the kind of things. Without a goal, your savings doesn't work. Without these kind of things, it just doesn't work. So what happens in the Centonomy 101 class, which we'll tell you about shortly, is we help you put together your goal. We ask you the question that nobody else has asked you before in your life. What do you want? Because when you paint the picture of what you want, now we can work backwards and say, this is how we're going to get there. These are the choices you need to make in order to get there. Dr. I don't know if you're seeing the results of the poll on your screen. Have you seen the results somewhere there? Your mic is on.
Seeing them. I'm seeing them.
Good.
Yes.
So
yes.
Take it away. If you'd like to respond to them, karibu.
All right. I just have a small presentation to share so that you can understand why I ask these questions. I hope you are honest. Don't lie to yourself. Never lie to yourself. Let someone else lie to you, but not yourself. So I hope they are honest. They look really honest. They are a reflection of what I expected. So I think I can start sharing my screen.
Please go ahead.
I'm so new on Zoom. How do I share my screen? Screen share. 1 minute.
Have you found it at the bottom of the screen? Screen share, just click and then you'll select the page.
Oh, I select the files. Huh?
You'll select the app. Whether if it's on PowerPoint, you'll see Microsoft PowerPoint and just select that one.
Why don't I have a PowerPoint? I have screen, whiteboard, Zoom, cloud meetings. Is it somewhere when I scroll down?
Had you opened it before? You need to open it.
I need to open it. 1 minute, yes. 1 minute. Forgive me.
It's okay. It's okay.
And I'm a teacher. Wait 1 minute.
No, don't worry about it. Let me take guys through the responses in the poll.
Oh, here it is. I've opened it. Okay, so when I open it, what do I do?
So now go back to Zoom and then go to screen share and it should be there as an option.
I'm opening the wrong one. So there it is. That's the right one.
So just select and then say share.
Okay, so going back on my Zoom. Here I am.
Yes. And go to screen share and then select it and share.
Okay, just take them back. I sort this out. I am trying to, I can see you, but I'm not able to. No, I can't hide video.
No, if you just
Oh yeah,
select
there
the
we are.
screen,
So
good,
now
good.
share screen.
Good.
And there we are. Oh, thank you, Waithaka, for that. I don't know whether you're able to see my screen.
Not yet, at least not on
yet.
my end. Guys, are we there?
Oh yeah, sorry, let me click share. There we are.
Yes, please. You have to share.
There we are.
Now we are seeing something. It's coming. Good. We are there.
Okay, perfect.
Good. Now you can, yes, just the normal way. Good.
All right, so there we are. So that's the first time I've shared the screen. Thanks. So my name is Caroline Njoki. I'm a Centonomy alumni of 2017 and 18. So that's the first question, I believe. So I don't know whether, Marilyn, you're there. Are you able to give us the results? Let me just click mine.
I can do that for you. I can do that for you.
Okay. So the question was, which age do you feel is the most appropriate to settle down and have a family?
Most people, 54% said 20 to 30 years.
All right.
43%, 30 to 40 years. So those are the big two responses. Between 18 and 20, about 2%, and over 40, about 6%. So the majority are aged between 20 and 40 years.
All right, fantastic. So that's when most people feel that. And you notice the question had also asked, if you already have started a family, when did you feel would have been the most appropriate? Because you started at that age doesn't mean you are ready. So it's also a question for those people who already had families. So majority are within the 20 to 30 age bracket and 30 to 40. I'll just like to pose a question here before I go to my next slide. How many feel they'll be ready by the time they are 20 to 30? That's just a question for your further thinking. Majority of us feel 20 to 30 is the appropriate age, but how many are actually ready at 20 to 30 years to start a family? All right, so when we leave that briefly, I'm just trying to go to my next slide. Yeah, I'm going to start here with some cold facts. I call them cold because they're not very pleasant to mention, but nevertheless, they are facts. At 35% of youth currently are employed. Those are those who are less than 35 years. You can see that's the age bracket we're talking about when you're ready to settle down. So almost 35% of youth less than 35 years are actively looking for employment. And that means out of every 3 to 4, almost half of every 10 youth you pick, youth are people below 35, have no means of income. And yet this is the time we want to start. We feel it's good to start a family. And every year, up to 800,000 enter that already crowded job market. So we start looking for jobs with them. Next year, another 18 are going to be youth. And this is not data from outside. This is our Kenya Population and Housing Census data, 2019. So you can see what you're talking about. If we look at data from outside, I don't know why when I click, am I supposed to click inside?
Yes. As just part of the screen, you can do it at the bottom of that screen. That's fine. Just the way you normally do.
Sorry.
You can even use the arrows on your screen, on your keyboard to do it.
All right. So when you look outside, this is because I didn't find data from here in Kenya. But if you take, for example, in the UK, the number of young adults, 20 to 34 years, which you feel is the time to start a family, are living with parents. And this has increased from 19.48 to 23.91. So more and more people are delaying the time they are supposed to be having income. And this is the ideal time to start a family. In the USA, 1 in 10 adults in USA is a multi-generational caregiver. That means you're taking care of your parents, you're also taking care of your children. This is the cycle you're saying we need to break. And just as the last time I was making this, on 28th, when I was making this presentation, the inflation at Kenya was 5.78, which is quite high. It has been one of the highest we have seen in several years because of the COVID-19 situation. So you can see where we are heading to. If you're a young person today, I'm not saying you should be worried, but you should be worried. The way you're going to plan your finances is not the way you'd have done so if you had been born in the earlier years. So what does this mean when we are talking about this? It means that we have shorter years of earning. Probably people will start getting good enough income to start a family when they are probably even over 30, over 40, right? It means right now when you're a young person earning that little, you need to be more frugal because you're going to be earning less for a shorter time. You're going to get your grounding as a person who can earn to support a family later in life. So you need to start earlier with the little you're earning, probably to plan for future. That means we have to plan our resources. Even sometimes even to plan for an non-existent family, because if you're going to wait until you're able to earn what you can, 40 years, you'll go wrong. You cannot wait. You have a shorter time. And we have to prepare resources for multi-generation caregiving. So these are some of the things that mean. So as a young person, start to view yourself in those shoes. Then you'll be able to see where we are coming from. It means the young people today, the youth, not just the youth, even people now who are past that prime age, they need financial literacy now more than ever. So it's a very big investment that you'll make for yourself, for your future, if you start getting financially literate now.
Yeah.
So what are some of the bad money habits that we're talking about that will be elaborated during Centonomy? Is this one of not budgeting? We've already talked that. You heard about Peter. You heard what I said about it. Waithaka has also elaborated. Not tracking your expenses, doing piecemeal purchases as opposed to bulk. There are many, many things, okay? And I put one there in red, which Waithaka is going to tell you over and over again. Try to keep up with
image.
Yes, it's something that is really affecting the young people. Image is so important, especially in this era of social media. Someone posts something, it could be false, and you believe. No, the futility of keeping up with social expectations, we need to shy away from that, okay? And use your goals instead. What Waithaka is saying, what drives you? Is it society expectation? Is your goal? It's a very important question, okay? For those who are already working, and you're working so hard for your family, we understand, but you're so busy. Now you find yourself in a situation, as I said, you are more grounded when maybe you're 40 years. That's the time you decided to have your children. You're in the peak of your career. You have no time. I'm also a culprit. And then you find you have stayed away from your children. Then you start buying gifts instead. It becomes a vicious cycle. No. They don't need gifts. They need time. You need to sit there and play with them, those games, chamama. That's what they need. This guilt buying is something that was brought up. I didn't know I had it until I joined the lesson. So it's very important that you join these things so that you have insight of yourself. There is a need to maximize the short time you have to earn. In other words, that's what you're saying. All right? And you need financial literacy. The concept of money working for you, it's also a very important thing that Waithaka has told us, and also Peter has alluded to. So most of these things, I'm happy they've been shared already. I don't know, there's a small window here that is disturbing me. And this is the second question that we've come up with. What is your estimated start salary? What is your estimated salary? Waithaka, what is the poll on that?
So the poll, we had 16% saying 1 to 10,000 shillings, 22% saying 10 to 20, 25% saying 20 to 30, 6% saying 30 to 40, and probably the biggest proportion, 33%, believe that it will be greater than 40,000 shillings.
Right. Okay. So you can see 33% only. That's less than half of the correspondence. So it means majority of them are in that bracket of 20 to 30. Sorry. I mean,
you're right.
Yeah. Okay. So it means you're not alone. When we say there are very few people who are actually earning more than 40 per month. Majority are in this group of below 40. They're earning 10 to 20, 20 to 30. So when you sit and say that, I think I'm earning too little to start saving, think again. Majority are in that age group. I mean, sorry, they're in that that income bracket. In fact, there are very few who are actually earning a six-figure salary. So what I'm trying to drive at is you need to see yourself in the lens of the global society where you are, majority where they are. That's where we are starting, and that's where majority start. So you cannot say, I'll wait until I earn more. No, you have to start learning to maximize with that you are already earning. And then let me just, I think I just don't know where these arrows are, but yeah, we are. This one might not have been in the polls, but I'd like to just ask this quickly. I don't need a poll here, but where is most of your money now? We've already said we are earning a little, maybe we are earning 10 to 20, you feel it's a little money. Where do you keep most of that money that you earn? Do you spend it immediately? Do you keep it in a mattress, under a mattress? And this is a reality. If you ask my grandmother where she keeps her money, she doesn't feel confident to put it in a bank.
Yeah.
She'd rather keep it in the house. So it's not a very far off generation that had no confidence in a bank.
Mm.
Now, us, our generation, how many of you are keeping it under the mattress in the house, in a safe at home, in a bank, or you give it to a sacco or a chama, or you put it elsewhere? Before I attended Centonomy, mine, I would put it in the bank. And I didn't believe there was anywhere else to put your money. There are very many areas you can put your money for it to grow and start working for you. So that confidence, where do you get it from? Now, the first I'll give you, so that you can understand, people who hoard their money, you're now past earning, now you have money, you're keeping it in the bank. They're going to teach you about something called the time value of money. Where do most keep their money? It's a very important question. When you understand the time value of money, I've posed a question to Shalom in the group. Shalom, you're with me. I've asked her, if you used a certain table and you look at your 23,000 shillings, you can accurately predict when you're going to get your 150M and plan accordingly. So the Centonomy teaches you the time value of money and how to accurately predict in future how much your little earnings cumulatively will end up being. So that is something I really loved about Centonomy, okay? It also showed me something, that activity in your account in the bank is very good collateral for credit, getting a loan. It's when the bank asks you for a statement, correct me if I'm wrong, if there are any bankers in the house, they're not looking so much at the quantity of that money in your account. It's the constant activity. How active is your account every month? Is it showing a constant stream of income? That's what creates confidence in someone even to give you a loan. All right. So how active is your account? If you get your little 10,000 shillings, do you just put it in the house because it's too little to put in the bank? Or do you place it in the bank and then remove it so that your bank looks active? It's time to make your CV. And if you have noticed nowadays, when you read the newspaper, many financial institutions are now having an interest in the small income earner, because they've noticed that is where a lot of money is changing hands. So if you feel you earn 10,000, 5,000 is too little, the bank is seeing something you're not. That's why they are having a lot of interest in the small and medium enterprise. So you unadharau your 10,000, but the financial institution is seeing something that you're not. So think about it. What does this mean? I've already said that banks are attending to small and medium enterprises, okay? For this small money that you're saying is called small money, because there's notice that's where the economy is. That is where money changes hands. How do you perceive your money? All right. And Waithaka has said this, Mbatha has said this, money which you don't work for is the best. It removes a big load from your head. The day you're able to earn money without working for it, then you have established what you call financial freedom. And this is a picture that I love. Hello, Waithaka, are you still with me?
I am taking notes.
Oh, sorry, my internet is unstable.
It's okay.
I don't know whether I'm talking to myself.
I'm taking serious notes.
I think I'm just talking there's a dog barking here. Sorry. So if you look at this picture is a very important picture. You can see the person at the other far end who is being pulled by money, all right? And he's on the plow. We call this the plow, yeah? He looks quite content. And as they are in the field, plowing the fields, behind him, you can see he's planting money. So what is happening that this money is working for this man, and then as he's working, he's also planting more and more money. I think that's a concept that you're trying to say and will be taught very well in Centonomy. But when you look at this other man here who is really sweating, yeah, he's working hard to get money. And if you look behind him, he's not planting any money at all. This is where most of us start. Even those who are already here planting money, they started from there, sorry, okay? So, but what made the difference is how they reinvested the money that they were getting so that they can jump from this front side to the other side there, all right? So the question 2, was this in the poll, Waithaka?
Sorry, yes, it was.
Oh, it was. Can we see the results of this? In the prevailing COVID-19 situations, where do you think a kilogram of maize valued at 65 shillings will cost in the next 5 years?
2% said 75 bob, 10% said 85 bob, 21% said 95 bob, 29% said 105, and a whopping 40% said 115 shillings. So majority are above 100 bob.
100 bob, all right. Okay, actually the correct answer here is 85 shillings. I know this was a hard question for the people in Centonomy, who have gone through Centonomy probably could correct me if I'm wrong. This shows that you can see how many people are not able to accurately predict the cost of something in future. Okay, you just hear that COVID-19 is bad, inflation is high, we are not able to buy, things are becoming expensive. So you just take the upper limit and say, this is how it will be, things are bad, things are bad. No. When you join Centonomy, they show you how to work with what you call the future tables, okay? So that you can be able to predict exactly the cost of this unga in 5 years at this inflation rate. And I chose unga because it's something everybody can identify with. But you can use the same principle to predict the cost of school fees for your nursery school child in university and work towards that. All right. So Shalom, are you still there with me? I posed a question to you. This is where this comes in. When you're trying to predict the future of something, the future of when I'll get my 150 million, you can actually accurately predict to the letter using inflation. That's why it's important to join such classes. And then you can plan accordingly. As I said, you might have to plan for an inexistent family. If you have a family you've not already started having, but you know in 18 years' time, your children are going to be in university, you can start planning what to save now at this interest rate for the future. All right, so I wish to move to the next slide. There we are. There's some cold facts here I'd like you to see. So if you look at this picture, this is you. Those are your goals there. Now, when you don't have goals or you don't have what you call a plan, and I like what Mbatha said, I don't know whether I'm pronouncing Mbatha's name correctly. Forgive me, but I know who you're talking about. Mbatha, yes.
Yes.
He said, and also what Waithaka was asking, what is your plan? What makes you wake up every day to do something? If you just wake up every day, it's just a day like any other, you'll just not feel the strength to do anything. But when you have something called a goal, you will wake up. Now, if you have a goal, but you have no plan, like what Mbatha said, you don't have a plan, you just have a goal. You start seeing many things. Friends tell you this, oh, you don't do that, it's risky. Relatives tell you, how do you do such things? You start getting fear, you feel guilty. Society is also judging you. You have no plan. But when you have a goal and you have a very solid plan here, I don't know if you can see my arrow.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, yeah. So you have a solid plan laid out for you to reach your goal. All these things cease to exist and you're able to forge along. So you learn to manage your risks instead of fearing them. So people are not able to feed different things to you. You're able to focus on your goals. It's a fact that the cost of living is going to be higher in the future. So you're planning now for a future, you plan with a different cost. You can't plan with the same cost. This is what Centonomy teaches you. It's a fact that your income, wherever you will be, will not rise at the same rate as the inflation. I wish it could, but most of the time it doesn't. So your income will not rise proportionately to the cost of expense of things. So we need to have proper planning, and this is what Centonomy teaches you. People without financial plans live on a day-to-day basis. As we said, the situation is getting out of hand. We have seen with the COVID-19. Younger people are staying more at home. Younger people are taking longer to get incomes. You have a shorter time to do things that you will otherwise have started doing when you're 20s. You cannot afford to live on a day-to-day basis at this time. So it's good to plan for the worst, hope for the best. These are the kind of plans that Centonomy teaches you so that you can have mwelekeo, you can be able to plan your goals. So what does this mean? I've already said that. Plan to guide your goals, okay? To the last penny. If it's school fees, if it's building a house, if it's everything, you'll be taught how to do that. Those are the tables I'm talking about. Shalom, sorry for calling you a lot. I'm teaching that to students. Those are the tables they'll teach you. Okay, so you're able to predict when I will get my 150M from my 23K a month. All right. They also teach you something very important. You understand why you behave a certain way with money. An example that had been put across by Mbatha is he used to keep his money in the bank. What used to make him do that? Probably he was trained unknowingly to keep money in the bank. So beliefs are impacted in us by everybody around us, our parents, our siblings, society, and they make us behave a certain way with money. These negative beliefs, they're going to be expounded slowly by slowly during Centonomy, and you'll understand why you fear some risks. Why are you so fearful about some ventures? That's why it's important to attend that class. So you understand yourself, you have insight why you behave the way you behave. I will keep insisting we have a short time. The young people nowadays who are earning have a shorter time to do everything in one. So you have to maximize your short time that you have for earning. And this is the time to be financially literate. And then I have the next question there. I think that was the last question, if I'm not wrong. Is it?
Yes.
Waithaka? All right. And it's also one of my last slides. You won dinner vouchers. I've adjusted a bit, but you have won dinner vouchers and decided to take 3 of your best friends for dinner. What topic of discussion dominates your talk during that time?
All right.
What was it, Paul?
So we had neighborhood and neighbors, 5%.
Sorry. All right.
Yes. And then we had workplace and workmates, 32%. Opposite gender, 13%. Country and politics was 27%. Others, 59%. As in
Right.
close to 60% was every other thing.
I'm very curious what those others are, but okay, thank you very much for that, Paul. I would lie to you. My best friend, we spend a lot of time talking about neighborhood and neighborhood politics, but that is good. You can see where majority are in the others. That is good. Probably I should have elaborated what others are. I would have liked to see what they are. But the reason I'm asking this is because Mbatha said this very well. Who do you hang around? It's very important. If you, sorry, let me go back. There we are. I like this matrix. It's something that was brought up. I remember being asked about this in Centonomy. It's very important. All this, this is my last slide, second last, sorry. This is a very important matrix. I don't know how to pronounce it. You will Google what it's called. It's called
Eisenhower.
So there's no H, the H is silent. Eisenhower.
Yes. Eisenhower. It is, well, it's
yes.
There.
So it's a very important matrix. It tells you how you schedule your time on a day-to-day basis. And if you look at it, those very nice friends, I won't speak for everybody, but for me, the friends I really feel relaxed with, we spend our time here. Distractions which make you feel very bad afterwards, okay? Like going out for a drink and maybe overdoing it. All right, then you wake up regretting, trying to have some social misdemeanor. All right, this is where I would spend most of my time when I was, younger. These friends were my friends. I really loved being in this matrix, and it's also a therapeutic matrix. Even now at this age, when I just catch up on a few gossips in the neighborhood here and there for a few minutes, I go home very relaxed. And I can do other things. So I'm not saying do away with this, but how much time do you spend in this matrix? These distractions, social media, WhatsApp, watching TV, video games, eating junk, drinking, doing absolutely nothing, okay?
Yeah.
This one, it's very relaxing. It's very important that you spend some few minutes a day here, but how long do you spend it there? These are things that actually don't help you to meet your goals. And then, of course, if you're not here, majority now come here and here. This is where you do the things that your employer requires you to do. You're working for your employer, remember, but you're trying to move you away from working for your employer to yourself, working for yourself. Most who are employed spend here trying to finish a project that your employer requires, an assignment your employer requires. an assignment or a project that your teacher requires. Maybe you're in school. Most people in school are in this quadrant. Okay. Going to prepare meals for your kids, doing things for even your kids, by the way, they come here in this quadrant. Urgent things that are not building you as yourself. So you see now people who are working usually spend their time in this first quadrant and then they come to this one. Then they go to this one, then they come to this one. It should not be that way. Okay. Now, for us who are in the middle age and we're saying we're doing intergeneration, we're taking care of our patients. Sorry, I'm a doctor. I keep saying patients. You're taking care of your parents and also your children. You end up also adding this quadrant here, where you're doing things that need to be done for other people. All right. But these are things you could easily delegate. They don't require your expertise. So we almost always remain in this quadrant, the upper one, that one, and this one. And we always neglect this. So this is the most neglected, and you can see the color is different. It's the most neglected quadrant, but this is the most quadrant of your life, where you activities without a deadline, they're not urgent, but they're things that build you. This is where you spend time planning. How many of you spend majority of your day in this quadrant, where you do strategic planning, not just for your finances, for your life, where you do professional development, you network, okay? You exercise and take care of your health. How many spend most of it here? So when you read that book, the people who, 7 Habits of Successful People, you'll notice which quadrant they remain with. This didn't came out clearly. No, it's just Centonomy. Waithaka will ask you, who do you associate with? So you need to increase the kind of people you associate with so that you can remain most of the time in this quadrant. People who help you plan, people who project and help you talk about things in future, people who help you with your professional development, people you network with, right? So, sorry, there we are. So also, if you have time, you can take that book called The Laws of Natural Attraction. And I think this is where some principles come from in Centonomy.
Yep.
You need to be positive thinking and associated with people who are thinking positively. And this is, they'll tell you a lot about the abundant mindset. That is where I realized probably I was spending so much time, not with the wrong people, we don't call them wrong people, but majority of my people who I was hanging out with were probably not the positive thinkers that will help me progress. So you start seeing a change in your behavior. So this abundant mindset, you're going to be taught that in Centonomy. It might look obvious now, but when they dig, I tell you, they get into your conscience until you realize, oh my, you get some insight about yourself you've never gotten. And I'll just end this by saying that there are several types of people: the ones who make things happen, the ones who wait for things to happen, and those who find things have already happened. Centonomy sort of trains you to make things happen for yourself financially, not just waiting until you earn enough, not just waiting until the government says the following or the government does this. You become the mover, all right? So that is the mindset that I found Centonomy helps you to get. Thank you.
Dr. Now I understand. Now I fully understand why your YouTube video is one of the biggest on our site. I was just seeing it's crossed over 200,000 views. I'm telling you, amazing, amazing, amazing as always. Look, guys, we have to come to an end now, but that was amazing. Peter, I really appreciate the time and energy as always. Dr. Your presentation was spot on. You should see the comments coming in on Facebook. They're just amazing. And so I want to just wind this up with a couple of things, because people are now asking questions. Now, how do we join? How do we do all of this? It is just, sorry, I want to share my screen as well. Let me just do that for you shortly. I just wanted to mention that if you've heard what is coming across from both Dr. and Peter, there's a cultural element to it. You find that wealth creation is a culture. Just like you find there are certain communities, like if you look at the Asian community, you look at the Jewish community worldwide, they're very entrepreneurial. Why is that? Because if you grow up in your father's business, in your shop, you learn how business works. You learn how it goes, and the next generation gets better, and the next generation gets better at it. So what we are trying to build here at Centonomy is that culture of wealth creation. It's cultural, I'm telling you. And where there's a culture of overspending, it's culture. You pass that same thing over. So those things are mighty and important. We're trying to build that culture. So real quick, I just want to share a little bit now about what to expect now, even as you join Centonomy. We've been asked this question a couple of times, and I just wanted to make sure. This is what the Centonomy program looks like, and it's put together with reason. We talk about the area of personal money management, time value of money, and debt. And these are the central money management tools that will help you understand investment, help you understand saving, and how wealth is created. If you don't have the tools, then it's difficult to learn. All the classes after that are built on those three foundational tools: money management, time value of money, and debt. When you get those three, all the others begin to make sense. Then we go into living abundantly. That's where we ask you the real question: what do you want? Because if you come from the mindset of lack, of no hope, then it's difficult to grow. Then we get into the investment classes. That is investing in government securities, which are treasury bills and bonds. What are they? How do they work? Why is it important to understand them as an investment tool? We also talk about unit trusts and mutual funds. You know, when you hear this is a mutual fund, this is a unit trust, what are they? How do they work? How do they help me? How do I use them? How do I start investing? And we talk about property and real estate as a whole, not just rental, not just buying your own home. How do we look at real estate as an investment tool? Then how do we look at the stock market? You know, everyone thinks the stock market, it's a cartel, it's hard to get into, it's hard to tell, it's gambling. You see, these are all the tools that you hear in the background that make a difference. And it's so important for us to get it right. And that's what that class is all about. Then we talk about how to protect your money. We discuss insurance. And I've seen a lot on Facebook, the amount of discussion that has gone on here, people asking, hey, so save, if I shouldn't save in a bank account, what about insurance? What about, those are the questions we are answering here. We begin to discuss insurance. We talk about estate planning, and it's not just about writing a will for when you die. How do you organize your wealth even now when you're still in this world? We talk about taxes and how tax works, and so we make sure that you're paying the right amount of tax. And then we talk, the last class, which is so vital, is called My Financial Plan. We spend that whole session putting together a 5-year financial plan for you, one that is specifically for you. You use the tools and the classes that you've gone through to put together a 5-year financial plan, because then you can begin to adjust it every 5 years as you move forward. The last session, we talk a bit about chamas and investment groups and the implementation. Essentially, this is how it works. How you manage your money, it's so important. If you understand how money works, then you understand investment and how to protect your money. That's how it's broken down. And the classes, because I'm seeing these are the questions that are coming up here. The classes are Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday between 6 and 8:30 p.m. and Saturday at 9 a.m. You only need to attend one class per week. So the same class is taught on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So for instance, if you have selected Tuesday as your main class, and that week you can't attend for whatever reason, you're able to log into the other classes. And what's beautiful about these online sessions nowadays, sometimes if you just didn't understand something or you missed a part, you can still just log in rather than having to drive somewhere. There are some real benefits of being online. Please take down that number and that contact on the screen, 07000364433, and the email address Maureen. She will give you all the details that you need about the classes and help you out with it. I see someone else on the comment saying, now you guys, you're on COVID-19, everything should be at a discount, and we agree with you. Everything is at a discount now. You're getting 20% off. Just so that you understand, there's a 20% discount during this period of time, during the lockdown. I want to show you the payment plans. So you can register, and then, sorry, that should be 1,000, sorry, my mistake. It's 1,500 for registration, but then you make weekly installments of 12,000, 12,000, 12,000. 12,000, 12,000, then 10,500. That really will begin to shift the way that we think. 3 easy installments every month, especially for those who are there. We've even made it easier. You can even make weekly installments now. See people now, we are moving onto a digital space. So module 1 to 3, the installments are 3,000 bob per week, so per class. And then from module 4 onwards, it's 4,000 shillings per module. If you're doing that payment plan, it is possible to do so. And we're saying, look, the foundations for this class are module 1 to 3. That's why we've priced it differently, so that we learn the principles of money management. Then you can take the other modules as required, depending on where your position is. But we want you to complete the whole 12 modules, because that's how you get the certificate and how you get the 5-year financial plan, even as you walk forward. So as I said, we start next week. Tuesday, we start 6 p.m. The classes begin. Please register today. It will make a huge difference. You register at 1,500 shillings, and then you can pay the rest of the payments in installments, whether it's weekly or monthly, depending on what you have. And as you heard, I can't remember who it was in the chat box who was asking and saying, where is the discount? The discount is there, 20% off. It's meaningful even over this time. And it's meaningful beyond that, because there, as I told you, there are actually benefits to this online learning. You're not in traffic. You don't have to drive anywhere. The level of interaction is pretty good. I'm telling you, the experience is amazing. From those who have been through the program, you can see some of the testimonials on our program. I highly recommend it. Because now we are out of time, I want to say a big thank you, big thank you to Mr. Peter Mbatha, who is Centonomy Damu, and who has given his time. Peter, do you have a closing shot for guys?
Thank you so much, Waithaka. Maybe as a parting shot, I know we've said a lot, but I was just thinking what I would say as a closing remark. I think I just want to reemphasize what you said. Everybody who has managed to join this session, just remember to have a clear plan, and that will help you with your financial management. I think you said for the world champion, our Kenyan hero, his was 159.59. If I may just share mine was simple. I have had many goals, but Waithaka, after joining Centonomy, I just determined 3 goals. 1, to have my own house and my own car. Number 2, to pay for my kids' education throughout to the end of university. And number 3, to retire comfortably. I honestly hope we will have another session so that then we can answer questions like, how have I gone about achieving those goals? So come up with practical, simple goals which you can measure. And in conclusion, get people you can partner with. I think Dr. Njoki talked about joining groups that never worked. Dr. Njoki, in the next session, I'll tell you about a group I have joined that has worked, which has helped me stay accountable and has helped me also grow financially. So thank you very much, Waithaka and the Centonomy family.
Yeah.
God bless you, and I think this was beneficial. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter, as always. Daktari, parting shot.
Seriously, do Centonomy. You know, Waithaka, you remember me asking you, I would come to class late and I would ask you, why can't you do online classes? COVID-19 has positive side. Finally, we have online classes. And before they sounded like they were such a, I was asking for something out of this world. But here they are. I wish I did Centonomy that. I've already done my parting shot at the chat box. From my house at a discounted rate, and I was allowed to pay piecemeal the way you're doing. Waithaka, you are truly unfair to me. I had to pay everything, that. So for me, I think they are presenting you, Corona has its positive side. Yes. They have given discount now, and yes, they have started, you're being asked to pay in installments, which was, I feel, is very good. Yeah. Some of us who did earlier were not given that opportunity. And you can also plan and do it from your home. You don't have to drive there. And during this time of quarantine, I think this is the best time to start learning new things, because you're probably off work. So I don't see a better time to get online than now.
Wow. Daktari, as always, a pleasure. Thank you so much, Peter. A pleasure. Just so that you understand what people are saying online, because I know it's hard to keep track of it as you go. This is Moses Muni who says, very informative. Thank you so much, Daktari, and Peter as well. Awar says, my mind is made up. I'm signing up for the class beginning 2nd June. What is this that is coming up? Sorry. Yes, I also want to experience this freedom everyone is talking about. The class was informative. This is by far, this is Twain Anthony Rungu, by far the best webinar session. Got to sign up for 101. Thank you so much, Twain. We really appreciate it. This has helped me reevaluate my crew, and that message came through. Who do you hang out with? This is Mimi says, thank you for the session. And Kim says, great opportunity. Beatrice Kibet says, great session. Lots of stuff going on here. As I said, the program is starting on this Tuesday. Sign up now, come into the class. It will change your life. Now, we always like to be very honest, because people think that the turnaround happens yani day one. No, like everything it is a process that you will go through. It is a process that will see you get to your goals. It is a process that will assist you to understand what you want to achieve and then move on from there. But the idea is to start that process now, and you'll be able to achieve your goals much faster than you had. I can only take one more question, and this is from Doreen. I'm seeing it here on the chat here in Zoom, and saying, what of those confused about which Centonomy class to take? Doreen, take them all, but here's my advice. Here's my advice. Everybody needs to do Centonomy 101 because it is the foundation of wealth creation. Everyone needs to do it. But you're saying Centonomy 101 or Centonomy Entrepreneur. For you, I will say this. If your primary source of income is your business and you're struggling within the business, then I would suggest start with the entrepreneur and then go into the 101 class. But you need to do both if you're in entrepreneurship. But everyone needs Centonomy 101 because that teaches you how to manage money, how to invest your money, and how to protect your money. Whether you're in business or you're by yourself, or you're earning a salary, you need that information. That's the place to start. That's my opinion on that. And the classes start this week. So guys, see you in the class. You can see the contacts that are there on the screen. Please also check out our website. You can register directly on the website, centonomy.com. Guys, this will change your life, and it's a great time to be learning in this time. Remember, when there's a crisis, usually there's some great investment opportunities. So see you in the class. That's it, guys. Thank you so much.